you and to members of the board, our staff, and any members of the public that might be on at this time. We are here to present the final workshop, a budget workshop, to members of our board of directors before final approval in June. After the presentation, you will have an opportunity to ask questions if you have any of our core finance team who is also on this call, as well as make any recommendations or provide feedback to staff. So with that said, we'll move forward to the actual presentation. Ms. Williams. Of course, this is just the initial calendar showing the next steps that we have to take. We are currently in our final budget workshop today at 11. The first reading and public meeting will be scheduled for May 18th. We'll have a couple of public sessions. Then we'll have our second reading on June 22nd. We don't know yet what the county has set as the millage rate. That will be done near the end of June. And hopefully we'll be able to bring before the board for final approval at June 29th, although that has not been a definite date, if that's to be determined. But hopefully around June 29th, we'll bring a final amendment to the budget to the board for approval. This is just a general overview of budget objectives that we've set internally. We want to optimize our internal operations, provide long-term sustainability, and build reserves. As we've discussed in the last couple of months with the board, these are budget objectives for our next fiscal year. These are just some assumptions that we've made, specifically in reference to revenue. We are not looking for an increase in the millage, so we remained at 1.15. The tax digest is to be determined. Our operating revenue budget has increased by 10% because of some funding, which you see 4.6 million for the CRISA grant funding. Without CRISA funding, we would currently be in a decrease of a negative 7%. With our expenditures, our operating expenditure budget has increased by 10%. Safety Department had to maintain 10 temporary screeners in a part-time position for 6 months, and our merit increases was included back into the budget, 3% for all employees, up to 3% for all employees. Initially, in the first workshop, we had excluded these merit increases. And then the next session shows some inflation factors. These are things that especially notable is the contract services and professional fees, because as the board is aware, we are in the negotiating stages with the new securities contract service. And most importantly, I think in the other assumptions here is our contingency or reserve fund that is currently $46,254 for the next fiscal year. It's not a lot, but it's a good start. And this slide shows our receipts, our revenue sources for this year. And we thought it would be interesting to keep the millage rate history in here. As you can see, we haven't had an increase in the millage rate since 1993, but we're still operating and we'll get through it. This screen shows some of the grants that we've received in the last year or so. You see the monies that we received in 2021 and in both operating and capital for 21 amount to about 10.7 million. And then with the CARES funding, we received about 5.8 million to be dispersed in fiscal year 21 and 22. And then with the new American Rescue Plan Act, we're hoping to have disbursements in fiscal year 23, 24, 25, and 26. Staff is very proud. We're really excited to say that when we began this process, day one, we were in a $1.58 million deficit. And now we are proud to say that we are proposing a balanced budget for fiscal year 2022. It took a lot of work and a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, but we think that we are there and we're ready to propose a balanced budget. The next screen shows just some proposed revenue for our next fiscal year. We're hoping to see fixed route fares increase as well as paratransit. Marine services is shown in the past month or so, steady increase. Our special district transit tax, of course, is a huge contributor to our revenue. City services, which are paid services that we provide to the city of Savannah, grants and other revenues. So this is just to show you the percentages and how much is contributed from each of these streams. Within the fiscal year 2022 operating budget, we are looking at these expenditures. Of course, wages and benefits is our greatest expenditure at 66%. And insurance is a little over 2.8 million. So that's a high one. We have to always account for fuel costs as well, contract services and utilities, and then general and administrative expenditures as well. But far and above, wages and benefits is our largest expenditure. The 2020 proposed staffing, we are looking really good here. Last year, well, fiscal year 2021, we had proposed staffing for 316 employees. And for fiscal year 2022, we're proposing 310 employees. So we still have a couple of positions to fill, but we're comfortable where we are. We are able to sustain these positions. With our capital budget, you see that our capital revenue is a little bit over 10 million. Our expenditures are just over 6 million. So total revenue over expenditures is 3.9, almost $4 million. These are some of the capital requests that have been made for fiscal year 2022. The top part of the chart shows those new requests that have been made, and the bottom part shows the fiscal year 2021 carry forward, those things that have not been completed but had been requested in the fiscal year 2021. So they are carrying forward. In line with FTA regulations, we have a transit asset management plan, and we're on target, just as FTA requires us to be with our buses, any vehicles that we own, any equipment, the care of the facility, and passenger amenities as well. So we're right on point with those things. In addition to presenting this proposed budget to you, staff is recommending that we continue to contribute to the Georgia Fund reserve policy. We are working on an implementation plan for rolling out our electric buses. There's also a great need for an employee handbook across the organization. We are also looking into organizing and preparing a board handbook. And a major issue for staff at this time is the procurement policy. Ms. Cutter and I have been discussing this, and we've already made steps toward moving forward to have a better procurement policy in place, one that would be more protective of the agency. And with that said, our first reading and public hearing on the proposed budget will be on May 18th at 10 a.m.
I have a question or a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I believe it was 2017, but there was a very, very small millage increase that was approved by the county.
All right. In 2017, you believe?
I think it was 2017, I believe, but it was not a huge one, but I just don't want it, the record being incorrect.
Okay. I would definitely check on that, Director Stone.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. If there are any other questions that you would like to be directed to the core committee, the finance team is available, or if I may answer any. Dr. O'Halloran?
Yeah, I think what Valerie was referring to on that graph was from the highest number, which was back in like 2009 when it was 1.2. And we've been below that since then. Sometimes we've gone up, sometimes we've gone down, but I think that graph was in reference to the last, from the highest number it was way back, like I think it was 2009. But yes, we have it. We had an increase in 2018 to the 1.15. So there have been increases. I think it just that 1.2 at some point in the past was our highest.
Right. I think
below that, but of course, tax digest goes up and expenses go up and revenues go up, and so that number is related to where we are in any specific time frame. But
the chart was actually
fluctuation.
I'm sorry. The chart was actually depicting that we had not had an increase, as you said, Dr. O'Halloran, of anything higher than 1.15 in so many years. But
Yeah,
I'll go back and look at that for 2017.
Yeah, and that's based on a lot of factors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know the board voted, and there was a small millage increase. I'm talking about the commission board.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and we definitely had one in 18 to the 1.15.
Well, maybe that's when it was. I don't know whether it was 17 or 18, but I remember it was under the last administration. Yeah,
no, we've been at 1.15 and that was raised in 18, I believe. You're right. May have been 17. I looked at the chart quickly.
The 2017 was at 1.0 and then it was increased in 2018 to the 1.15. So that is correct.
There you go.
I knew someone would have it.
Okay. Are there any other questions or recommendations at this point?
I'm just gonna mention that I've been working with the budget committee for the last month and a half or so, and it changes every week. So it's a lot of work. These people are constantly looking at the budget because we get new numbers every week. And right now we're down to the one final number we need to get other than the millages. What percentage of increase in the tax digest the county's expecting. And I know they're working on it diligently, but that's still the only variable that I see. And if history is any indication, it has gone up just about every year. So We're hoping it does, because then our balanced budget looks even better.
Yes, yes, sir. And our reserve will look better as well.
Yes, but it's better than no reserve.
Yes, sir. If there aren't any other questions, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn the session back over to you.
All right.
Please.
Thank you, Ms. Ragland.
Yes,
I want
sir.
to thank you and your team for a phenomenal job on getting our budget back in perspective, heading in a very positive direction. And I know it's been rough and it's been a lot of work. And just to let you know, we all appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
That
I
being
just want to say that I've been working with a great team with Ray Michelle and Gloria Royal and Janice, and now with Stephanie Cutter joining us. It's been a great team, and Dr. O, we certainly appreciate your assistance. Thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated. I got Miss Odell, Director Odell.
Good morning.
Good
I
morning.
think it's important that we note for the record where you started out and exactly what position we were in when you started and how much work you had to do. I don't think there's an appreciation for the amount of struggle you had to deal with.
Yes, ma'am. There were some hard decisions that we had to make. There was some restructuring of job positions, restructuring of the organization as a whole.
What was the number you started out at in the deficit?
So it was 1.8, I think it was
1.5.
1.58. 1.58 million.
Okay. Which is a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did a miraculous feat by compensating for that amount of deficit and not having to reduce significant amount of jobs to do that.
We didn't actually have any furloughs. We didn't have any layoffs. We didn't have to terminate anyone. So I'm very proud of
that you, yes, ma'am. It's important that you let us know that, so that we know the struggle, that you actually endured to get to a balanced budget. It's very difficult to get to a balanced budget when you're in a significant deficit.
There were some adjustments made within the organization, and I'd just like to say to those employees who had to deal with some of those adjustments, I thank you for understanding and seeing that we needed to do this for the sustainability of the organization. I just want to thank them again for agreeing to stay on board despite some of the setbacks and to move the organization forward, to assist in doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this point, I want to go take a motion and a second to go into executive session to discuss personnel and litigation matters.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion, but at some point, I think it might be good to have a roll call. Unless I missed it.
Beverly?
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Chairman Cody and Director Stone. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote for this motion, okay? Director Emerson?
Director Emmons just sent an email. He got tied up today with work issues.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Director Odell?
Here,
And this, we're voting to go into the
Okay.
closed session, executive session.
Yes.
Okay, Director Odell?
yes.
Thank you. Director Stone?
Yes.
Thank you. Director Lockett? Okay. Director Adams?
Yes.
Thank you. Director Robinson?
Yes.
Director Leggett?
Yes.
Director O'Halloran?
Yes.
Chairman Cody?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passed, Chairman.
Thank you.
I'll start the breakout room.
All right.
There we go.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for being back. I want to note that there were no action or votes taken in executive session. Do we have any old or new business? No old or new business. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. At this time, I'd like to adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.